Guys, we are live, I guess. Hi, Chhaya.
Hi, Amrita. How are you? Hi, all of our Me fans. A very good evening to everyone. I am Chhaya Gandhi. I'm the newest member of the PR team. I hope you guys are staying at home and staying safe. I'm all pumped up to tell you guys what we're going to discuss today. It's about food photography. It's one of my favorite topic to talk about. So this session is going to be all about you guys who love clicking pictures, and for all of those guys who have, developed their love for cooking in this lockdown. So a very warm welcome to Amrita Rana on the show. Hi, Amrita. How have you been doing?
Hi, Chaya. I'm good. I'm absolutely good. This lockdown time has actually been a blessing in disguise for me, spending more time with family, eating lovely food made by moms, and also clicking pictures while at it and sharing on my Instagram. So it's been good. That's good.
All of those guys who that's great, Amrita. So for all of you guys, Amrita was an ex-journalist and a radio jockey. She 9 years back she realized that actually her love lies in the kitchen and not in journalism, and that's when she started her own blog. She has been running it from the past 9 years. It's called Life Key Recipe. So Amrita, why don't you tell us something? How has been your journey so far in Life Key Recipe?
So I thank you so much for sharing that. So I've been actually blogging for 9 years. Initially, just started as whatever kitchen experiments that I was doing. I just wanted to share about those. Eventually, they turned into more into restaurant reviews and developing new recipes, trying everything new and sharing about that. And of course, there's been a huge transition when I look at pictures from 9 years back into now. I will never own up to those pictures because they were really bad. But of course, now with our phones being such amazing cameras, and I do have a DSLR as well, a very basic beginner level DSLR. But touch wood, the phone pictures have gotten better, and also a little bit of editing we have learned, so we understand how to make the same picture look better. So and then you have platforms like Instagram and Twitter, and where you can share more of your content. So that has also allowed me to learn more, practice more, and also उसको जितना ज़्यादा हम share करते हैं उतना ज़्यादा हमसे बढ़ता भी है. And that's why I'm very happy about the way it has turned out. Yeah.
That's amazing. Here's a few of your pictures that we could find on Instagram, and they look amazing, Amrita. Honestly, we went through your website and I was awestruck. I was like, oh my god, that is so amazing. I really, I want to cook more, or because I want to cook more, I would like to even click more pictures of them. So अगर एक food भी cook करूँगी मैं, तो मैं उसके 10 pictures लेना चाहूँगी, not one, because I would not be satisfied for sure. So moving ahead, guys, without wasting more time, we'll just directly jump into. And Amrita, why don't you tell us and explain us the few tips and tricks that you would like to share with everyone on how to ace the art of food photography? Hi, Amrita. Hello. I think we have some connection issue. We're connecting with Amrita again. Allow us, give us 2 minutes. We'll probably be able to catch her up with again. In the meantime, please pani wani leke baith jao, popcorn leke baith jao, because it's going to be one of the most interesting episode that is going to come. So stay tuned, guys. So I was thinking about, what all I did in the lockdown. And it's really interesting to, see around how the, earth has regained itself, how it's such a pleasant weather today in Delhi. It's such a pleasant weather. I have never ever from whenever, from the past 23 years, I have never seen such a weather in May. It's beautiful today. It's a very it's very different to see how, little things, all of us, what we are doing could actually change so much. Uh, and I think Ankit is here, I guess. From whenever, from the past 23 years, I have never seen such a weather in May. It's beautiful today. It's Hi, Ankit.
Yo, how's it going? Oh my God, this is so crazy because Amrita just dropped off, right? And I was like, okay, we definitely don't want Chhaya to just be awkward about what's going on. Don't worry about it. Yeah, so I really hope that we managed to plug in a patch in Amrita. But before that, my God, this is so amazing. This is so unplanned. That's the beauty of doing Redmi Creator Academy live, where people are plugging in from parts of the country. Where I think she's tuning in from Indore or Bhopal. Where is she? She's not in Mumbai or Delhi for sure.
She's not in Mumbai. I think she's in Indore. We were having a chat this morning and she said she's in Indore.
Okay, yeah. She's in Indore. Okay, that's all right. You tell me, Chhaya, you're literally 1 week old here at Xiaomi India. Congratulations.
Thanks, it's such a nice thing.
And for something like this to happen, let's open up actually YouTube and see ki log kya keh rahe hain. I understand that people are, you want to probably just stop the screen share, Chhaya. We can just chat till Amrita comes, and we can take it whenever she comes. Okay, let's see what people are saying. Kindly take this section in English. Is she back? Oh my God.
Yes,
hello,
I
Amrita.
am.
Hi, Amrita.
Hi, sorry, there was some technical error at my end. Can we continue?
Oh my God, you're wearing your super amazing big glitter wale chashme. I don't know kitne logon ko pata hai. Amrita, you might want to change your name because your Gmail ID is there, and I think the whole world is basically then be emailing and bombarding you ki kaise hum amazing photos खींच सकते हैं, things like that. Amrita of life, that's perfect. Okay, मैं कह रहा था, a lot of people may not know this about Amrita, and I know Amrita for what, close to 10 years now? Or probably, yeah. She has one of the most amazing collections of chashme. Kitne chashme hain at last count?
When I last counted, there were 63.
63 chashme. That is not normal, Amrita. I hope you know that.
I know that. I know, बिल्कुल normal नहीं है, but somehow I really love chashmas. And for most people, एक वो रहता है कि एक उनका मतलब defect है, like तो they struggle with it. I have owned it. So मुझे बहुत अच्छा लगता है specs different पहनना, and every time I wear a different specs, I feel like a different person. So which works.
I think one of the coolest things that I love, one of your frames, is there's a jhatak neon green wala na. वो मुझे बहुत पसंद है.
Yeah. Neon green, yes.
And also, I don't know how many people know, Amrita, hold up your wrists. इसके दोनों wrist पे दो tattoos हैं, एक पे pizza slice है और एक पे bacon है. Oh my God, she
and I'm vegetarian now.
And now she is vegetarian. कितने साल हो गए अभी?
4 years.
4 साल हो गए. I'm so proud of you. And I've literally seen your transition over the last 4-5 years. बहुत सारे लोगों के लिए खाना is just like chilling. But Amrita ke liye khana is her life, khana is her work, khana is everything. And which is why life ki recipe. Okay, I think ये मेरा occupational hazard है. मैं आता हूँ तो मैं बात करने लगता हूँ और hijack कर लेता हूँ conversation. So I guess I'm just going to be there in the background and let you girls do the talking. And please share all the amazing secrets and tips on food photography, Amrita.
Well, thank you.
Thank you so much, Ankit, for coming and helping us.
Anytime.
So, yeah, where were we?
We were just at the beginning how we have transitioned, and just the idea is to keep practicing, and practice se hi photography better hogi. That's what I wanted to say, and then all of a sudden it just like phone shut down. But let's continue. Let's start with our basics of photography and food photography. So let's start with that.
Of course, let's begin.
Yeah. All right. So Chaya, as I was talking to you also, जो हमारे pictures हैं, जो especially food pictures हैं, वो एक story बताते हैं. वो हमें ये बता पाते हैं कि हम क्या उसमें कौन उसे बना रहा है, कौन उसे खा रहा है, किस समय पे खाया जा रहा है वो खाना, या फिर कितना प्राइस आप पे कर रहे हैं उस खाने के लिए. तो ये जो सारी स्टोरी अगर आप एक पिक्चर से बता पाए, एक फूड के पिक्चर से बता पाए, सो पीपल विल रियली कनेक्ट टू इट. और स्पेसिफिकली अगर आप एक होम शेफ हैं, होम ब्लॉगर, अगर फूड ब्लॉगर हैं, या फिर होम बेकर हैं जिनको खुद अपने प्रोडक्ट्स भी सेल करने हैं, तो आप चाहते हैं उसके अच्छे से शूट हो और आप उसे अच्छे से अपलोड करें, सो प्लीज डिफाइन हु यू आर. यू नो, ऐसे अपने ब्रांड, अपने एक आइडेंटिटी होना बहुत जरूरी है. और ये सारी प्रैक्टिसेस वैसे आपको बताइए कि सारे ब्रांड्स में होती है कि हम लोग डिफाइन करते हैं कि व्हाट इज द ब्रांड, व्हाट आर द कलर्स दे गोइंग टू यूज, कौन से फॉन्ट्स यूज करेंगे, कौन सा प्रॉप्स चलेगा, कौन सा नहीं चलेगा, बैकग्राउंड कैसा होना चाहिए. मगर अगर आप खुद भी अगर अपना एक स्टाइल डिस्कवर करना चाहते हैं, या अपने एज अ होम बेकर या अपने एज अ फूड ब्लॉगर यू वांट टू प्रेजेंट इट ब्यूटिफुली, define your style, and of course feel free to keep changing it. जितना आप उसमें change करेंगे, जितना उसमें आप ये भी देखेंगे कि आपके अंदर कितना improvement आ रहा है, कितना changes हो रहे हैं. So I just want you to if you can zoom.
Why don't you just take us through every picture that you have shared with us and tell us what is the story that you actually want to narrate out of them?
Yeah, so exactly the same story that I was talking about, as what your brand is, who's having this food at what time and how much you're paying. इस चीज के लिए मैं कितना पैसे दे रही हूँ, ये बहुत मायने रखता है. So अगर आप पहला पिक्चर देखेंगे, उसमें जो मार्बल बैकग्राउंड में पिक्चर क्लिक हुआ है, काफी मिनिमल है. You would see कि उसमें सिर्फ इंग्रेडिएंट्स को हाईलाइट किया हुआ है. और ये जो पिक्चर मैंने क्लिक किया था, ये स्टाइलिंग जो हमने की थी, वो मैंने स्टाइलिंग की है, फोटोग्राफी मेरे फ्रेंड ने करी थी, सर ने. सो जब मैं स्टाइलिंग के लिए जब ये एलिमेंट सोचते हैं कि कैसा फोटोग्राफ होना चाहिए, सो वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट टू सी कि एक प्रीमियम प्रोडक्ट है, इसका प्राइस रेंज कुकीज का भी 200 से ऊपर है, एक सिंगल कुकी या मफिन. सो उस तरह से हम उसको दिखाने के लिए काफी क्लासी मार्बल का प्रयोग किया है. देन वी हैव यूज्ड वेरी पेस्टल कलर्स, वेरी मिलेनियल लुक टू इट. एंड इफ यू लुक एट द सेकंड पिक्चर, जो ये शूट मैंने किया है, ये है बाली में शूट किया था, एक इंडियन रेस्टोरेंट में. और ये जो डिश है पर्टिकुलरली, ये एक इंडियन डिश और इन इंडोनेशियन डिश का कॉम्बिनेशन है. इंडोनेशियन एक सैलेड होता है, गाडो गाडो सैलेड, उसमें ये तंदूरी चिकन उन्होंने डाल के उसको फ्यूजन डिश बनाया है. बट द आइडिया वाज कि ये वो प्रेजेंट करना चाहते थे कि ये एक हाई एंड इंडियन रेस्टोरेंट है, progressive hai. So progressive restaurant, because that's why it's such a, you want it to have that kind of a feel, very premium crockery, something like this crockery you must have not seen very commonly.
I completely love the use of the color because to show the premiumness. Yeah. Also, I think I really love the different shape of the plate, right? I mean, it's plates, very different. This is something you don't find usually.
True with that. In fact, if you notice on that picture, we've used a blue color fabric. That's actually a satin fabric. You know, satin itself gives a very nice, rich feel. So even if you are like, let's say, a fashion blogger, a lifestyle blogger, you would notice they use a lot of fur and a lot of satin in their pictures because it looks very premium and very classy. And this is something you can get easily for very less price. So it's a great thing to have in your, like, I call my cabinet a prop cabinet, that where I have all the scraps, fabrics, all my crockery, all of that in it. So it's always ideal to have these kind of things at home. And if you look at the third picture, now this is a dessert. It could have been had like at any given time. It could have been a breakfast. You were having this cake for breakfast, but like 4 people were sharing maybe. But by just adding that nice red color ribbon and that tiny snowflakes, you already know this is going to be a very Christmassy picture. This was shot for a Christmas count only for Nilgiris, and the idea was to make a very basic look, nice and premium, also part of like a celebration. This powder blue color specifically also denotes that this is a very wintry picture. This blue color is a very winter. You know how you've seen Frozen movie? When you see Frozen movie, it's all like blues and white. You see the Elsa's gown is this powder blue color, right? Because she's like queen of that
item. It's exactly the same of what, on which you have kept your plates. It's exactly
so that's right. Yeah. So these three pictures about that. Let's go into the other details of when we
So
look at each photograph.
on the third picture, Amrita, I always like, since you said ki this is something very specific to occasion, can we create SI kuch for Diwali or maybe for Holi?
Yes, for sure. See, yeah, absolutely. So for example, there are some things which denotes our festivals. If you have a diya in your picture, you already know this is related to Diwali, or maybe a rangoli. If you have colors like a gulal and all, you already know it's going to be holy picture. And it could also have thandai and all, and if you know that there's gonna be like any other festivals also, they have certain, like right now Easter went, and there were whole eggs kind of the chocolates which are made with egg, or the marzipan. So when you look at something, you can already find what is something that denotes that festival. While Christmas, while I chose snowflakes and a ribbon, we could go out loud using a Christmas tree, or you could use fairy lights, you could use those tiny gift boxes, or you could use those candy canes. There are so many things that represent Christmas in a picture. So depending on what you are, and it's so important to have topical content. Right now, for example, if it's a coronavirus lockdown time, you want to take pictures at home, it's very good to have pictures which also would involve hands, which will involve your making of the picture, making of the recipe. Because when you do for example, if you're making, I don't know, some people are making pizzas at home. So let's take an example. When you're making pizza, and if you made pizza, it's going to be a messy process. It's going to be like, there's going to be maida everywhere. There's going to be little sauce spill. There's going to be basil somewhere. So, that little nice, beautiful mess that is naturally created, you take a picture of that. So what happens is that it also shows that you are at home and you're going all in. You're doing completely things from scratch.
Yeah.
So that way, there are a lot of things which can denote your process of your picture also.
Wow. So little things can actually help you narrate the story. I have been, it's been like whenever I speak to any photographer, the first thing they tell me is, your pictures actually narrate a story. They are the way you can actually communicate to everyone and actually tell them everything, which is very clear from what you have told us. Moving ahead, these are few of the most interesting shots that I could find, and we were just, talking about कि कौन सा कैमरा एंगल यूज करे. I think ये मेरा first question था जब मैं आपसे बात कर रही थी कि कौन सा कैमरा एंगल यूज करे. मैं ऊपर से शॉट लूं, मैं साइड से शॉट लूं, मैं नीचे से शॉट लूं, मैं कौन सा शॉट लूं अगर मैं स्पैनिश ऑमलेट बना रही हूं या मैं वाइन पी रही हूं.
छाया, मैं आपको बोलूंगी सारे शॉट्स लो. सारे shots लो छाया.
This is also what I have learned from you. Yes.
Yeah, take all the shots. आप अपना जो भी एक डिश बना रहे हो, उसका टॉप शॉट भी लो, उसका साइड शॉट भी लो, एंगल शॉट. अच्छा, मोस्ट फूड पिक्चर्स यू हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड कि पहले के जमाने में जब इंस्टाग्राम नहीं होता था, जब इतना विजुअली हम ये लोग चीजें नहीं प्रमोट करते थे, there was no such profession technically as content creator. There were bloggers, of course, but most of the pictures that were clicked professionally were for your restaurants and cafes, right? And it's like a thing that they wanted to make sure that the food will look exactly same way when it comes to you. So that's why, when the food is kept on the table, when you sit on the table to, on the chair to eat the food, so you always have an eye angle. So it's like a 40 to 60 degree ke angle mein you click those pictures. So in this case, if you look at the third picture, now this is something that if I were having food on the table, this arepa would be on this angle, that my eye can exactly look at this, right? But when you look at this beer and wine, the middle picture, now that means I have actually shifted myself from, or maybe my table has come up, or I have moved down to get it on my eye level. And why have I gotten it eye level? Because there are long bottles, there's glasses, right?
So in case you go to a cafe also, a lot of us actually, I personally go to a cafe and I can't live without clicking food pictures, right? So do you stand on the top of a chair or picture खींचने के लिए because ये shot तो बहुत important और ये shot ऐसे ही आएगा?
Of course. You should totally stand up on the chair of a restaurant and take the picture. So the thing is, earlier when restaurant people didn't know what is wrong with us, it's very important for us to get good picture, right? And restaurant these days, because they know it's a part of their marketing, Because every time that somebody comes and takes a picture of their dish and they're going to upload it on their Instagram, or they're going to put it on their Google Photos or any platform or Facebook or Twitter, it's going to help promote them, or Zomato, right? So what happens is restaurant people these days are very accommodating. If you know that there are a lot of restaurants, even in Bombay, who are launching Instagram menus. You're making sure that they give you extra something, a pouring shot or a drizzle of something, or they're doing it on your table, all these little nice theatrics, so that you can actually Instagram more. So when they come and pour something on your table, like let's say drizzling honey or sprinkling sugar, or probably even dry ice, like that whole drama that they do, the whole smoke. So that is because they want you to Instagram it. Restaurant people love when we constantly upload those pictures. So they're going to be very accommodating. So if you go to a restaurant, please explore all the angles, stand on the chair, go sit down, take your food, go outside if there is no natural light. I take the food outside restaurants so many times. And most of the times the service staff will help you with it. That's the best part. But the first thing that you do when you enter a restaurant,
help me understand, if I have to say that, if you have to use a thumb rule, कि ये अगर मेरे सामने है तो this is how I have to click a picture. So if there is any aesthetic or any thumb rule that you can say कि let's say अगर coffee है तो of course मैं ऊपर से shoot करूँगी, or if there's a burger, you told me, the filling of the burger is what you want to show, and again that's your story. Absolutely. That's something कि आपको narrate करना है इसके बारे में कि इसके अंदर क्या क्या filling है. So if you can help me with some more examples of maybe
for example, I got your question. Thank you for asking this, because it's a very interesting question. Most people struggle with what angle to go for. So something which is beautiful on top, for example, you look at the first picture, there's a whole latte art that's happening on the cappuccino. So when that's happening, you can go complete top. If you will try to take that picture from the angle, then you will not see what art is happening on the coffee above. Right? Even in case of pizzas, we always try to take a top shot picture so that we can see the whole pizza. If you have seen angle pictures of the pizza, you'd always seen that when the pizza is lifted, so that you see that stretch of the cheese. Otherwise, angle pictures with pizza won't work. Otherwise, only the top shot will work. But when you look at drinks like wine or beer in the second picture, you can see, because it's a see-through glass, and so you can't take a top shot picture. And to also show how tall the glass is, how much. So for example, if you look at the beer head, there's a good enough beer head. And so to show that whole thing, how much the wine is filled, and the whole ambience picture, there's a whole bouquet of the restaurant. So we have done an angle shot. So depending on what you want to show. So if there's something which has got height, please go into angle shoot. If this doesn't have height, shoot it from top. That's the basic thumb rule.
Very interesting. Again, since you mentioned about कि वो लोग especially आकर when they serve you, they'll just open and there's a smoke that is coming out, or probably they'll just put sprinklers on the beautiful cupcake that you're having, right?
Yeah.
So why don't you tell us, all the people who actually want to create content, of course, sitting at home right now, what all they can use, because I think these techniques are they're picking it up. इस time पे trend है काफी ज़्यादा.
True, very true. So I would totally recommend that if you are doing action shot, of course, you can take a still picture with your action shot. Even on the phone, you can take an action shot by keeping your phone on a burst mode. When you're taking up pictures, try to take pictures together, like at least 10, 12 pictures. So when the whole action is happening, you will get the proper drizzle or proper sprinkle or something. Now, what it will definitely work with is when you're pouring honey over your pancakes or your waffles, when you're drizzling icing sugar over for example, if you look at the third picture, that's a tiramisu in a glass, and you see a little sieve, we are adding cocoa powder to it. So that is a little action shot. It's been captured that way. Well, if you know even more detail into photography, you know that your shutter speed is where you'll have to really pinpoint where you get proper flow of the picture and doesn't get all like lines, right? And if you look at the first picture, which is the butter chicken with a little naan, now here is what we created, smoke, because this whole butter chicken, the idea was this is a smoky butter chicken, and it has come out nice and hot. So this smoke, of course, sometimes smoke is easy to get with the dish itself. And you have to make sure if you're taking an action shot, and specifically if there is action which is smoke or the flour or cocoa powder, it'll be ideal if you do it against the dark background. Action shot looks nicer in a dark background because the whites or the grays will highlight more. You can't see a smoke in a white background picture. So you'll have to first do that. And smoke you can create. So this particular picture, we created smoke with agarbatti, with loban, you know, the dhoop batti. And sorry, I don't know if it's allowed to say, but we also, there might have been or may not have been cigarettes involved in this picture to just get the right kind of smoke. But otherwise, you need to, like, just agarbatti would do most of the job. And otherwise, dry ice is something which is also accessible these days, where it will, when you drizzle a little bit of water on dry ice, it starts smoking. And it's a cold smoke, but you have to always be careful about it because dry ice can hurt your fingers. So please be careful about it before trying it at home. While if you look at the second picture, there's a little flower and there's a hand coming in. Now, what does this tell me? Especially this picture could be totally about my COVID-19 baking. I might be baking breads right now. Why? Because it shows that I've been actually baking a lot of breads. There's a whole action happening. There's a whole flour. My fingers have all the flour on it. That means there's an action happening. It's a process happening. So if I put up this picture and if I say, guys, you know which recipe is coming up next, they'll already get it. Right? So they know that I'm going to make this. So action shots tell you more story about your food. So please try to include action shots in your pictures as well.
Wow, that's a brilliant advice to have, honestly. Moving ahead, what is the second tip that you would like to give?
In this one, in the action shot. Can we move to the next slide, Chhaya?
Yes. We are on the next slide. Okay. It's what is the preparation that is, that goes behind actually taking the beautiful shots that you do?
So once you have figured out, as the question also we went by, the first you figured out which angle do you want to go with. You have figured out what kind of picture would you like. You want brighter colors, you want lighter colors, you want rustic, all of that you're going to figure out. So once you've identified, then very important thing is to find a right kind of backdrop for your picture. Now, I understand that we all have only one table or maximum two tables at home, or we might have one kitchen platform. There may not be natural light coming in or not, So it's great to have a couple of backdrop options with you. So for example, I have listed down a couple of background options here. I do have at home some marble tiles. You go to any tile shop, by the way, and tell them that you want to pick some scraps. Scraps are they sell it for like $100 or $150. So they want to get rid of those as well. They might be a little chipped from somewhere or they may have limited pieces. So you can get some of those. MDF board, which is available at every hardware shop. I know after the lockdown, it will be accessible for us. You can get one of the MDF board. It comes in all thickness from 2 mm to 4 mm to 6 mm to up to 8 mm as well. And that is pretty, it's easy to store. It is easy to carry anywhere. It's lightweight and you can paint your MDF board. So if you look at the picture, which is on the third, the Christmassy picture, it's something that I created at home. Even the black picture, the center picture of this whole image is an MDF board, which you can just paint using an acrylic paint at home. And if you want to create textures, you could use a mixture of Fevicol and cement and can create textures on it. So it's very easy to create your backdrops at home. You can also use your floors. Just make sure the floor is well cleaned before putting your food down. You can also use old wooden planks. I literally went to Andheri station and outside that went to a wooden shop and told him that give me these 4 wooden planks together. At home, I just put them together and I painted it myself, and that's a backdrop for me. You can also use old windows. So for example, the blue color picture that you see is the Puri picture is actually an old window that you can, again, I actually regularly visit, the shops, the old shops where they sell all these atala and things. I usually keep going to them to see if something I can use there. Other than that, fabrics really work fine. Colorful sheets work fine. So if you look at my first picture that I shared, it is something I clicked 3 days back. I don't have any backdrops here right now at mom's place. All my backdrops are in my Bombay house. So I have used my niece's skirt. Like it's her pink color net skirt, which I have used as a background because I didn't have anything else. I didn't want to put it on the floor. I didn't have any wooden background. So it also gave it a nice, beautiful feel. And the second image that you see, where I'm holding that little cake and a little rum bottle. Now that's one of my kurta, like a dress, which I've used as a backdrop. And the third one is again window. So you could use any backdrop. Actually, you don't have to get stuck. If nothing, your kitchen platform works just fine. Yeah. Put it on the floor. I didn't have
Wow. I mean, usage of a skirt and a kurta in this lockdown to create such an amazing picture. Oh my, I am definitely gonna try this out after this video. Cook dinner for myself and अपना ही ऐसे frill वाला skirt रख के picture click करूँगी.
Also,
So,
one thing if I
what
may
is
point out right now here. So Chaya, one important thing is specifically if you're looking at taking great pictures for your gram, super important to do is that you take natural light pictures. The phone picture in natural light will always come out nicer. So even this wrap that I clicked on the skirt, I made it in the dinner, okay, this wraps, but I saved some to make it tomorrow in the natural light again, because I knew that the picture will come out nicer. And I know as a content creator, if the picture is nicer, it will get more engagement, people will relate to it more. And so as I thought, a lot of people are actually sending me their recipe because they love the picture so much and they found the process so easy. So please try to take as many daylight picture as possible. But of course, if there is an issue that you can take a tube light picture, just make sure there's an additional light stopping that harsh lights. That's it.
Thank you so much for sharing this, Amrita. What else do you think as is required preparation में क्या क्या चाहिए होता है? I understand backdrop चाहिए होता है, natural light चाहिए होता है. So guys, अगर आज रात खाना बनाया है तो खाना बचा के कल सुबह उसका फोटोशूट करके फिर खाएंगे.
I actually don't cook nicer food for dinner. I cook nicer food for lunch and breakfast.
Maybe that is something we have to follow now.
Yeah. But if not, other than that, if once you've figured out your backdrops, you've figured out your angle, you've figured out what story that you want to create with it, then think of what props can go with it. If you have interesting crockery, and I would recommend if you're getting into food photography or a styling, or even for you're doing it for your own Instagram, please make sure that you buy a couple of props, right? And you could take very basic props, which is like your off-white plate, your gray color crockery, some brown color crockery, some lighter blues and lighter greens. That will go with most of the things. But if you don't have props, then you can use a lot of things which are lying around at our home. So for example, you look at my yellow color picture, it's a coffee shot. I wanted to talk about that, how I am obsessed with coffee. And I carry a coffee bottle like everywhere. And that was my picture. But to accompany it, to make it more fuller, I used, and I went with the whole story of happy. So yellow color denotes happiness, right? We all know that yellow is full happiness. So when you put yellow things together, and coffee for me was happiness in that time when I clicked, and right now I'm off coffee, by the way. But the whole yellow things, I started collecting all the yellow things from my home. So I got one, like a book, I had a napkin, I had a bowl, I had some flowers with little yellow things, I had a yellow color heart, and I put them together in that little scooter and clicked that picture so that I could just talk about that, how coffee is right now the source of happiness for me. And there's a little cookie as well. While if you look at the second picture, now this is an interesting story. You see there's the plate on which the coconut is sitting. This ice cream, which is a strawberry coconut ice cream, it's a vegan dairy-free ice cream. And I wanted to highlight that A, of course, this is the ingredient in it. And B, I wanted to present it interestingly. Right now, this is a secret which I'm just telling. This is gonna be between you, me, like just Chaya, you, me, and all the people who are watching us. Okay, that this ice cream is not the
yes,
real.
It's definitely a secret, Amrita.
It's not real ice cream. Do not tell anyone. But this is a pink color hummus.
Oh my
okay.
God.
So what I did was I had some extra hummus. I put pink color in it, and I scooped it with my ice cream scoop, and I put it right here. And it looks like, of course, I could pass it on as like this is a coconut ice cream with strawberry, and you see this beautiful pink color. The coconut shell is giving that feeling of the freshness and everything. And Asad was the photographer, and he shot it also so beautifully that it's worked out well for me. But otherwise, I have recently done an ice cream shoot. I'll again give you one little secret between all of us only, which is you mix your cornstarch, your corn flour, which comes, which usually comes for thickening your soup. You take that and you take conditioner, your conditioner that you use for hair. You mix the two and make a dough out of it. That's your basic vanilla ice cream. Very simple. You don't have to do anything else. And if you want to add colors to it, for example, if you want to make a chocolate ice cream, you could add a cocoa powder to it or chocolate sauce to it. If you want to make a pink color, you want to make a mint ice cream with little Oreo crush, you can make ice cream at home. And right now, I know a lot of content creators will be putting out recipes about ice creams. This is something you can try at home and just use an ice cream scoop to get a nice texture of the ice cream. That's the only thing. So you can make these things. So if you don't have the right prop, you can still use it by using extra things. Again, a taco picture you can look at. It's a kadahi pan slash kind of a thing which I bought from Chor Bazaar. I love buying things from Chor Bazaar. There's always this unique utensils you get from, and please bargain there, because this pan that I bought from from Chor Bazaar, Bombay. I think Purani Devi. No, this one was Chor Bazaar, and he told me this is for like 2,000 rupees. At the end of the day, I got it for 400 rupees. So that's the bargaining power that I have. But please go scout at these places. You get amazing props at Chor Bazaars and stuff. Can we move on to the next slide, Chaya?
So before moving on, I was just, gonna put up a question, and I just wanted to ask that, since you have told us already कि इतनी सारी चीजें हम use कर सकते हैं, if हमें बहुत amazing picture click करना है, you can include a lot of things in your picture to create it more live. It's more lively to have such a picture, right? What all do you think are the little things? Let's say if I'm sitting in a cafe, मेरे पास इतनी सारी चीजें नहीं है, right? So what do you think I should add in my picture कि मेरा picture एकदम Instagram perfect हो?
So I would totally recommend always carrying a fancy to-do list or a journal diary. And these days you get amazing journals and amazing little stationaries. So always make sure that you have beautiful diaries or something, or to-do list. You can always have, some interesting keychain, a little sunglasses. For girls, you could have lipstick or any kind of your, sunscreen or whatever things that you have in your bag. And you can take a picture with those things as well. So for example, I can totally imagine this. Let's say if you were having an avocado toast at any cafe, okay, on like, let's say a Sunday brunch thing. So you have your avocado toast on a table. You have also ordered, let's say, a drink to go with an iced tea or a coffee or whatever you're having. Or maybe because it's brunch, let's go with mimosas or with sangrias. So you have that going. And then what else will tell me about brunch? Because brunch would be nice and light and bright place. So you can keep your sunglasses there. You might want to keep a little of your purse going from there. You could also have a little bit of like a little to-do list or little like a sticky note maybe saying that have fun. So these things you can actually go to a restaurant and also do a styling. Mostly at restaurant, you can also use their menu. And usually these days, restaurant focus so much on creating interesting menus. So beautiful design menu can also be one of your prop in your picture. So have the menu. And later on, what I like to do is you have a menu opened and my dish. And then I can later on, by using an Insta story or any other editing app, I can always circle my which dish did I order from the menu, and I can point it out, create a little extra arrows to make your picture more effective. And you could write otherwise using a font. I'll talk about that a little later about the font, but you could totally use anything that's available at the restaurant as well. And most restaurants will also these days will keep flowers on their table. So try to include these things and gives you more vibe of the place and also vibe of where you're having it. And of course, your friend, if you have a friend, please use their hand. Make sure that they're holding one of the glasses, or they're holding the plate, or they're going with the spoon or the fork. It's a very interesting thing when you can portray that story that you are out with the friends for a brunch. You can also always, if you're going with a romantic date, you can always hold hands with the person and also have food in the picture. So there is an interesting extra stories. So these are basically, this means that but when you're taking a food photograph, you're also adding layers and layers and layers of story. So storytelling is always built up like that.
That's amazing. The number of props everyone can use, including from keychains to other person's hand, to your laptop, sunscreen, lipstick, car keys, anything at all. You can include it in your photos, and it's gonna be an Instagram perfect picture.
Totally.
Next to be, so this is something, when Amrita shared with me, I couldn't help but actually ask Amrita how these ideas come to your mind. ऐसा कैसे आ जाते हैं? I mean, it's so creative, Amrita. It's so creative. Why don't you tell us what actually made you think and how you created all these pictures?
So thank you so much, Chhaya, for kindest words, first of all. But I also love, मैं अपने मुंह से तारीफ ऐसे करूं, but I know that I am creative. I like to post. I like to do something interesting around my pictures. And sometimes if you don't want to have a lot of props in your picture, then you can just do interesting things like this. You can take a chart paper, draw things on it, and put your food. Now, if you look at the first image, which is the tomatoes, this was a part of the series when I was teaching how to make pasta sauce at home. And this tomato that I wanted to use were the desi tomatoes that we get in a very short season. If you know that full December, January is when we have the desi tomato in the season. So they will always have the green intact, and that looks so photogenic. So I wanted to make sure that I put a recipe about this. So we did this whole styling, and I had a very creative intern back then as well. So we would draw things, we take pictures like that. So I was teaching a pasta sauce. So all the ingredients we kind of illustrated with a pencil. Of course, a lot of people, and especially when you have interesting phone, like a Redmi Note or any other where you can have a stylus also, then you can always do a digital painting on your food pictures as well. And it looks so interesting. If you look at the third picture, which where I was teaching how to make pesto at home. And it is such a simple recipe. All I did was I kept 6 ingredients that goes into the pesto. And I was teaching an arugula, rocket leaf pesto. So I put all 6, single. Actually, there are 7, sorry. 7 things. There's also salt. So you put all these things together, and on my Insta story, we edited there and used a Fonto app to add the fonts. And it's a nice illustrating way to tell people how to make pesto at home. And when people look at something so simply done, they are more motivated to do this more at home. And so you're actually, see, why are we creating content at the end of the day? When your why is clear that you want to add value to people's life, then you try to come up with more and more interesting ways, more effective ways of adding value. The second image is about, I was making a green peppercorns from, I bought it from this thing, Buleshwar market. And I was trying to make an infused oil. And so I wanted to say how much oil and how much peppercorn, and it was half and half ratio. So it was 200 grams or 200 ml oil to 100 grams of peppercorn. And that's why I came up with this. I could use how to show that what is the ratio of it. And I created that tarazu thing to just show that oil is more and peppercorn is lesser. So I like doing this fun storytelling through my food pictures.
This is a perfect way of storytelling. Honestly, it's really nice the way you have shown it. Moving ahead, Amrita, so we're gonna dive straight and talk about, since it's Xiaomi, right? We're gonna talk about how to shoot using your phone, and this is for everyone. Amrita, we all are at home from past 1.5 months almost, and we have been on our phones constantly. And for all those content creators today joining us, who want to learn about this. This is the perfect story that Amrita is going to tell you on how to shoot from your phone and again create Instagram perfect pictures and stories.
Right. So one thing that you want to make sure for sure is taking, if you can possibly do, please take daylight pictures and not take night pictures. But I do know that we are all like cycles. Our daily routine is kind of disturbed, and we all are more active in the night than day these days, right? And most of the people are indulging in midnight baking. So if you look at my first picture, is actually a nighttime picture, and it's clicked under tube light with just my simple phone, and it still came out nice. All I did was put my all of things together. There's egg, there's that almond meal, there's that chocolate which is melted, there's rum, and there is my whisk. And whisk also,
how many lights have you used, Amrita, in the first picture?
It's just one tube light that is just there in the kitchen. That's it. There's no other light.
Okay. Have you used any night mode or any specific mode, if you want to mention?
So this one is actually plain, because also I used the area where there was light was much more, and not like just below the light. If I would do something below the light, what will happen is that I will get harsh shadows. And as you can see, it's a top shot picture. If it was completely under the light, I would have gotten my phone reflection on my food as well. I would have gotten a food shadow. So one way to not have that shadow is making sure there is an additional source of light. For example, I'll just show you, like for example, just 1 second. Yeah, I just want to make sure that my phone is good. So for example, I can put my flashlight on, and let's say if I were taking pictures, which was on completely on direct, then from the side, I can always bring out extra light. So what will happen is that my shadow that was forming won't happen directly on the food. The shadow will fall outside the picture. So that's one interesting way to not have shadow on your picture. Another thing you can do is to make sure that when you're taking a phone picture, you want to make sure that you can take a picture a little bit from above, and what will happen is that you won't get direct shadow. It will completely get out of the frame. So this is, so you always have one natural source, natural as in like the tube light, and have an additional flashlight of your phone to take a, so you'll have to borrow someone else's phone from the family to take an additional light.
What
If
about
you look
the
at a
third
second
picture,
yeah,
Amrita, where you are, or one of your friend is holding the pizza, which is
yeah,
much
the
above, and
pizza.
I think you have shot it in a portrait mode.
Yeah, exactly. So portrait mode, you have to understand this, that portrait mode, what it really does is it will focus on some part, but it will blur the rest of the things. It's called depth of field in terms of photography. That पीछे का जो area है, जो field वो है, वहाँ पे depth बढ़ गया है, और पीछे का area थोड़ा blurred दिखेगा, आगे का focus में लगेगा. Now what happens is if you try to take portrait portrait हमेशा हम top shot के लिए नहीं use करते, because everything else will look weird. There will be bits of your pizza which are focused, the rest of it is blurred, so it will look weird. But if you create a height, if you create a sense of a little lift something up, then you can have a focus on this and rest can be blurred. So I've taken that and it's next to the window. And this is not something I made at home. This is just before the lockdown. We were sitting at a pizza place and that's where we were sitting on the window side. So you can see there was a natural light that was coming. And I always like to take a picture of my pizza because as you can zoom into that picture, I have a pizza tattoo. So I like to always take a picture of pizza in my pizza tattooed hand. So that is my story that I always talk about. But portrait mode really works when there is a height or when there is an angle. But if you look at my second picture, now that's again a very naturally lit picture. It's a phone picture. And what I've done is with a little bit of basic editing, I have really brought out the colors of my mango so that it looks much more vibrant. It looks much more appealing. And because the contrast, as you can see, the plate is dark color and the mango and that rice and that little white drizzle of my coconut milk is standing out so nicely. So you want to make sure that there is contrast in your picture. You can always have dark color plates and still not have a dark rustic feel to the picture. You get me? Otherwise, people think that dark plates or rustic plates are only for dark, grungy photography. Only that kind of mood
But I think
photography.
clearly a contrast always works. Having a very bright
Absolutely.
food on your plate that is actually rustic in color, it actually creates a perfect contrast, and it's a beautiful picture. I mean, I genuinely love the right hand side. It's the pizza picture. I can't get over it. Definitely the next time I'm going to a cafe, I'm going to pick up the one slice and say कि ऊपर से shot लूंगे portrait mode पे और उसको उठा के
portrait mode पे. Yeah.
Yes.
And
it's
of
a
course,
hack
later on with your editing, bring out the colors. Yeah.
Amrita, why don't you, take everyone of us through what are all the main things to remember while
Clean your
clicking
phone.
pictures?
Yeah.
Yes.
Clean your phone, guys. I can't emphasize it enough. Whenever you're about to take a picture, if it's a front camera, you please clean your front camera with your, and use always, I always use whatever t-shirt I'm wearing, but it has to be not, it can't be synthetic. It has to be a cotton base. Otherwise you're going to, your lens is going to go even more. There's going to be, see what happens is when we're touching our phones and we're constantly touching our phones. So there's always oil on our hands that gets transferred to the phone screen. And sometimes it's also on the camera. So if your camera screen, the camera is not clean, the lens is not clean, you will not get good pictures. So please clean your lens the first thing before taking a picture. If it's front, then front. If it's what is the backwards? What is the back camera? Yeah, the back camera, the clean that. I forgot what is the back camera. So clean the camera lens is my first tip. Most people do not do it. Please do it. Also, second thing, what you want to do is once you're holding your phone, use your both hands. I know some people are very lazy. Yeah? They take pictures like this. This is wrong. Don't take pictures like this. Always like set your frame and take the second picture to like second hand to click the picture. So what happens is that you've stabilized your frame and then you're using another finger. Like please use both the phone. Don't be in rush. Always set your frame. Take couple of options but just don't take like 200 pictures because then it's just confusing. Just make sure that you have everything right. Setting the focus even with your phone pictures is important, and I know a lot of people have started exploring pro mode in our picture, which gives you the whole option of adjusting your ISO, that how much light is going to go into the camera, how much of aperture speed will be, or how much the shutter speed will be, and basically that will give you a very perfect professional level pictures. So I'm sure you all have on your phone little professional modes, pro mode, and try exploring that. And so by setting the focus, whenever you click on any part of your frame, that part will get focused. And you already know when you click on something which is the brightest on your screen, the rest of the screen will become dull. The pictures will become dull. And if you click at something which is darker, then it will become all the more exposed, because it's trying to get more light into it. So there is always, whenever you tap on your screen, what you get is that little sun, the brightness adjustment, the exposure adjustment that happens in without even the pro mode, that gets in your basic camera also. So what you do is always set the focus. You can adjust your exposure manually. Some phones will also allow you to lock your exposure. That means even if you move your frame, it's not going to become dark and light and dark and light again and again. So it's very effective. Please use that. Use your phone camera's features nicely, I would recommend.
So everybody on chat is asking, how to set exposure on your phone. So for all of you guys, we requested Amrita to make a video for us while shooting.
Yeah.
So on our special request, thank you so much, Amrita, for accommodating that. She had created a video. We will just request Amrita to take us through it once again, so that everybody knows actually how and what can be done.
You can play.
Sorry.
So I only had, like I was clicking an Apple picture. I didn't have anything else which was ready. So is it playing? Yeah. No. Yeah. So what I did was I had a dress which is a powder blue color. It's not going to take attention away. I also had that crocheted thing in my house. So I put it together. Now, if you look at the Apple, I wanted to see that what angle will it suit. So I have my camera on. I'm trying to adjust first the fabric, because I don't want too much of it. I don't want too less of it. I just want a little bit of that waves. And you know that fabric always has its own mind, like literally. खुद से उसका दिमाग होता है, कभी-कभार तो बहुत automatically adjust हो जाता है, कभी-कभार लगता है क्यों पड़ा हुआ है. And this Apple I've adjusted in a way so that it doesn't look slant. It should look straighter. So I've just rotated it a bit. You can see here. And this is a basic picture. I'm just clicking it just normally. This is my basic camera picture. And of course, now when I move to like a portrait mode or a pro mode, you can select whichever. See, this is the exposure when you're talking about. Whenever you click, whenever you tap anywhere, this button comes, the way you can adjust it. And night mode will of course allow you when you're taking pictures in the evening or under the yellow light. It really is helpful. The night modes on your phone will really help you that time. Okay, coming back to the portrait modes or the other mode, I wanted to figure out if I could do a little top shot of it with little extra styling. So I plugged some leaves from my plant, like random plants. I don't have apple plant here, but I'm just putting the leaves around to make it a little more nicer, fresher picture. So you can see, so just adjusted these leaves here. And I'm just going to go a little topish, complete top, and going to take a picture right here. So I'm also adding my third, like the second cloth, just to fill up the frame. Some people prefer it absolutely minimal with no props, no fabric. It's absolutely okay. Find your own style and explore it, I would say. You don't even have to follow anyone's style here. So here, this is where I'm taking a basic picture. So I'm taking, of course, I take 2-3 pictures, one on portrait mode, one on camera mode, and I can always later see what I want to do. So just taking a picture with this, and that's it. So what happens is you already seen now how I do the basic picture of it. How do I click the basic picture when I'm looking at not like fully fledged shot. If it was a recipe, of course, I would have thought of, putting that little, if I'm making apple pie with it, I would have a little flour, I would have had that little baking rolling pin, and I would have other elements to tell the whole story of the thing. But otherwise, it's a basic picture, basic video of showing you how to take pictures on your camera, or just a better food pictures on your camera.
Well, that was a very in-depth explanation of how to shoot. Thank you for this. So Amrita, we were discussing about also, a lot of people are interested in knowing how to edit, like shooting is done. Of course, that's the thumb rule. हर तरफ से shoot करो, ऊपर से, side से, नीचे से, हर जगह से shoot करो pictures, right? And then choose from it. Second rule is, of course, use natural light. Natural light is the best to choose from, right? And then you can always play with the colors. have colors that are in contrast, have colors that are similar, use portrait mode, pro mode, etc. Besides all of this, we would also like to touch point on how to edit on your phone. I have heard of 1,000 of apps, but I'm still not able to understand which one to use, which effect it will create, कौन सा सही है, कौन सा नहीं है, कौन सा फ्री में मिलेगा मेरे को, कौन सा नहीं मिलेगा, किसके लिए थोड़ा पे करना पड़ेगा. So help us understand, Amrita, on these are the two pictures that Amrita shared actually, and the kind of difference I see of before and after. I mean, it's a huge change that you can see. Editing se काफी difference आ जाता है. So help us understand, Amrita, how have you done this?
So Chhaya, do we also have that video of the Snapseed edit? Do we have that ready?
I don't think so. We do have. You can verbally, probably just
okay
talk about it. Sure, I will.
Okay, so basically the 3 apps that I would totally recommend for you guys to download it on your phone. The first is Snapseed. Snapseed is a Google app and it's really amazing. It's very basic. It's of course free for everyone to use. And there are very simple features on it, which is you could start with adjusting your brightness. So if you look at my first picture, which is the pasta picture that I posted, now that's a Snapseed edited picture. You look at my before and after, you can zoom into it, by the way, guys. So before picture, if you look at, it's quite, that the colors are a little dull. There's too much of shadows, and my the green handle or the green bezel is not so highlighted. So Snapseed allows me to do this basic thing of editing it, at least increasing the brightness, increasing a little bit of contrast, creating a little bit extra saturation. Saturation will bring out colors. So always look at any editing app and that saturation will really help you bring out the color of the dish. If your food is looking too yellow, especially if you clicked it in a restaurant or at a cafe in the evening, then you totally want to use something called white balance. White balance will allow you to go from that yellowish picture to little bluish picture. So you'll have to adjust it to see how do you want to do it. If you are even taking like a golden light time photography, which is during sunrise and sunset, you can always add a little more warmth in the picture and it looks really beautiful. And so Snapseed will allow you basic things. My favorite thing about Snapseed is there's this feature called selective, which is also present in Lightroom ka paid version, which is where you can select a certain area and just work on adjusting its brightness or color correcting it. But on Snapseed, it's possible easily. You can also use a little brush tool. And my favorite feature is not selective. My favorite feature is healing. We all need healing in our life in different aspects. But for photography, healing means that little one area where you don't want any of the things that was already existed, you can remove them. So on Snapseed, when you'll explore, you will find this feature called healing, and you can zoom into the picture and click on that bit where you want to remove. So it could be a crumbs that are extra. You want to, you want to remove like a whole extra, like there is an extra prop that you've kept. You want to completely remove it. So healing will allow you to remove that completely. And if you look at my second image, which is just like it's my niece with my friend Sanjana, and we went to Sanjana's La Foli chocolate factory, and I took a picture there. Now, if you look at just this picture, and that the second picture, that after picture, is something where these days you get it only in your like Instagram filters. You see, like people these days use filter directly to get pictures like these, but you can create your own filters or your own preset, also on VSCO and also on Lightroom. Of course, VSCO, if you have a paid version of it, it will also allow you much more presets present. It will also allow you editing on your videos, which is great because we can have the same effect on our videos. And Lightroom also, the paid version, Lightroom actually even the plain version will allow you to save your preset. So once you saved your preset, that means how much light, how much brightness, how much contrast, how much of fade effect, whatever colors that you want a certain shade of pink. Let's say if you compare the green behind on the piche wala place, you'd see that the green is much more vibrant. So you can save these things, and every time that I have a picture, and I can always put the same filter, what happens is my Instagram feed will start looking similar. And we look at a lot of these content creators. I don't stick to this, by the way. That's my personal style, to not stick to one thing. But I know a lot of people like a curated feed where the entire feed is looking of similar colors. So that time your VSCO and Lightroom is most effective. So please explore these apps and you're going to absolutely love it.
So Amrita also shared with us few of the apps that she personally recommends using. That includes Lightroom and Snapseed. Amrita, why don't you tell us also? Additionally, if you can just share your screen and tell us, show us how have you edited the picture that you clicked. It would be great.
Chhaya actually had to switch the phone, so I won't be able to share my screen right here.
Sure. Why don't let's just why don't you talk about all of these things and let me see if I can share it.
Yeah. So in the VSU, I already spoke to you about that. How actually, let me talk about the Snapseed first. I've already spoken about how Snapseed allows you to adjust. Also, it has basic things called tools, which will allow you to. Let me try if I can. If just let me know if it's visible, and I can open it here. Okay, I'm going to reduce my brightness to low so that you guys can see. Can you see? Is it visible for you guys? Will you be able to see this? No, na? Chhaya?
No.
Is it visible?
Okay. Yeah, it's fine. It's better. Yes.
Okay, cool. I'm just going to reduce the brightness to a little bit even more, so that will help. Okay, so this is a basic picture, which the same picture that I clicked, the video I showed. And then there's an option called tools. Now, tools has this option of tune image. There's a lot of option. You see brightness, saturation, contrast, ambience, all of these things. So according to what you want in the picture, you can adjust that. To give you an example of what I was talking about, selective. So for example, I just want this leaves to become more green, for example. So I'm just going to go into that area and select. You see that redness? That is how much areas I'm selecting. And then I can always increase the brightness of it. So brightness, I can also always increase the saturation of it. So you see that same leaf, I'm going to just do okay. So you see that difference. You look at the leaf, this is before and that's after. Do you see that? Cool. So this is how you can also do selective editing on your Lightroom. And it's very, very easily to do that. Oh, did you get the video of mine? Okay. Okay, Chhaya, you're mute. You're mute. We can't hear you.
I'm so sorry, guys. Yeah. So we finally got the video. Awesome. I would like to show you how this was edited. This picture was finally edited.
Okay. Is there audio? Should I narrate with it?
Yes. No. I have muted the audio. You can walk us through this.
Okay. Okay, so as you can see, the tools, which is basic, your tuning image, you already know brightness, a little bit of contrast in the image will, create a little more difference between the product and the backdrop. Then what we're also doing is looking at, I always do sharpening your picture. By the way, so okay, let me go to zoom into this. Okay. Now we are into the sharpening. So sharpening allows us to make the picture even more crisp. So it looks like that you have taken the picture not from your phone, but maybe from your professional camera. So always use sharpening. And I always try to use sharpening by 40 or 50, maybe sometimes above. So sharpening gives you a little more crisper picture. See, before and after I'm trying to press, and you can see how much difference does it make. Okay, curves is something that most of people get confused with, but curves will actually help you in creating the right highlights and shadows, right? So what I do is click that center and create 3 points total. And then I create a little bit of S. So you see the above point I'm going to raise, and the down point I'm also raising. So that's highlight, and up and downstairs is shadow. And this little bit of S will make sure that you get a nice highlight and shadow balance in your picture. Or especially for food pictures, a little bit of S really helps. And if you also want to do a little vintagey fade effect, then this is what you can do. Take that little corner point and take it up. You see, the more up you will take, you'll get more faded effect, like more vintagey effect. And you can bring it down to your liking. And that's it. I think this is enough for me. Yeah. This looks good, right? And then you have something called white balance, which of course you would use if this picture is too yellow or white. You can crop it depending on if you're using it for your feed. So see, 4:5, I know that my Insta feed will look like this if I post, right? But if I want to put it on my stories, then I would totally go by 9:16. But listen, see, like that chopping board, I don't want the end of it. So I'm just cropping it till there. So my 9:16, I will get the final story image like this. I always take pictures with the full screen. I don't take like smaller pictures, by the way, guys. Stories are more effective, than your feed pictures. Okay. Whatever your next is this selective, as I talked about. You can select that certain area. I've selected leaves and I'm making it little bit more brighter and saturation I'm increasing. Yeah. The same tool can be done by brush as well. So brush also allows you to go selective and you can increase the exposure. So I'll take this leaf, for example, and I'm going to make it a little bit more brighter and a little bit more green. So that's it. And even in this leaf, the corner one is too like blackish. So let's change it also. Yeah. This is the brush tool. It helps you selectively working on your picture. And anywhere else you need. So you see before and after. Yeah. And then we have the healing, right? So see, this is the little area like chopping board pe daag, which I don't want. So I can go into healing and remove that. Boom. And I really love that how you can just like remove anything from your picture actually. So if I zoom out and I'll show you long press before, so you see that little daag is gone. It's like you don't even need like surf or any kind of like sabun. I also will go into healing and remove this entire leaf for you guys, like a little magician job. But see, the whole leaf can be removed. So if I don't want any prop, which I didn't like later, or any crumbs or any dog on my food, I can remove it completely. So I'm going to zoom out and see, no leaf. Look, ma, no leaf. Look, my leaf, but I liked it. So I'm going to keep it back. And then you just have to export your picture. That's it. This is how you do basic editing on your Snapseed. Super simple.
That was amazing. Amazing, I mean. Dude, काफी चमत्कारी था ये.
Hello.
So a lot of them really want to know कि कौन-कौन सी apps हम use कर सकते हैं. So if you can again just help us understand कि कौन-कौन सी apps है, कौन सी paid है, कौन सी unpaid है. If certain apps उसके अंदर थोड़े से feature paid हैं, थोड़े से feature unpaid है.
Yeah. Chhaya, do you also have the VSEO video so I can talk about that a bit more?
I will check that till then. Let's
okay, just check that. I'll talk about meanwhile. So guys, there are total 4 apps which are mostly used for our photo editing. The first is, of course, I told you, which is our Snapseed. Super easy to follow. It's free of cost. Anybody can download it and can use it. And you saw it's so easy and so effective to get good pictures. The second app that I would totally recommend is VSEO, which is called Visual Supply Company. The free app उसमें उसको आपको limited उसके options मिलेंगे. So सारे presets they don't share it with you, and of course there will be no video editing. But VSEO will give you very interesting, and specifically if you like the style of certain bloggers where they do like this amazing shades and like a little faded effect, little grainy feel, then you can always use VSEO. I personally love VSEO. All your pictures will start looking nice and hipster, and you're going to love it. So I would totally recommend totally downloading that one. There's also Lightroom. Lightroom is what most professional photographers would use. Lightroom allows you so many features. You can actually take, like even in VSO it's allowed, but even Lightroom, even for the free version, you can do this. That has, for example, I'm wearing this and I want this red color to be a different shade of red. I can actually manipulate that color. So that's how when you see a lot of these Instagrammers and you see their skies look very unreal blue color, like a turquoise blue or like a teal blue, it looks because of the Lightroom preset. So you can create your own preset that way by changing those colors. And then of course, you know about Photoshop. I personally feel since the time Lightroom and VSO has gotten so popular, Photoshop is only used in only for your ad work and for your layerings and that kind of work. But Photoshop also allows you to do all of your basic editing. And a free Photoshop app, which is on the phone, it will also have limited option, but you can do basic editing on it. But my number one choice would be Snapseed and then VSEO. And actually, sometimes I edit my pictures on both. I am like that. I edit on both, and you also, I know there are a lot of people who these days have started putting those kind of filters where you have dust on your picture or sparkle on it or little glitter on it. So there are a lot of other apps which will allow you to add these extra things. One of the app that I like is Afterlight, which gives you this dusty effect or light leaks and interesting little bit drama on your pictures. So you can totally use extra apps for that.
Amrita, I think I'm able to showcase the video.
No worries.
So
I hope that it was understandable for the Snapseed only. You know that your basic editing is possible.
So here we start.
Okay. Oh, you got it. Okay, great. So guys,
Yes.
this is the VSCO edit. How do you edit on the VSCO? So I'm just first loading the image, the same image which I edited on Snapseed. I'm just loading it right now on the VSCO. So it's importing. And of course, you can save your edits and always apply it. VSCO also allows you already these presets. One of my favorite is F2, which works for a lot of food pictures, by the way. So you can always look at this F2 picture. F2 is available in the free version. That's the best part. So again, adjusting the exposure, adjusting a little bit of contrast. And I'm also going to sharpen the image for sure. Always sharpen the image, guys. Cannot recommend it enough. And then going to go into saturation, going to bring out that color of the red. And you can always play with the temperature, make it blue or make it yellow. So I'm just slightly reducing the white balance, okay? And this is where you can also increase the fade effect. That's where the whole hipster effect comes in. And this is my favorite part about VSCO or Lightroom, which is manipulating each color. So you look at blue, I have saturated it a bit more and changed the shade of the blue. You look at that? So how my earlier was looking different, the blue fabric, now it's quite looking different. Sorry, that's loading now. And then green also, selecting the green and changing the green ka shade. Look at my green leaf. It's completely changed the shade, and you can totally, like, as creative as you want to go, you can totally change the shade of the green. Yeah, even the red, I want to make it a little bit darker than this. I want to like a nice deeper red color. This is too pink for me, so I'm going to just go towards the redder tones. Yeah, that kind of looks nice. Yeah. And what else I can do in here is just see now, this is before and after. Yeah. Yeah. So I'm also adding extra fade. I like a little bit faded effect. So I'm just doing that. And see, this is your hue. You know, you can also like a skin tone. Even when you're using hands, you can change this. And even in your regular pictures, you can change the skin tone to give it a nice different kind of feel. This way your pictures will become more unique and more different than others. And if you follow it through all the pictures, then your feed is going to start looking similar. You know, I'm just changing the blue color again because I liked a little bit more different color blue. I wanted to make it a little darker and a different shade. So just came back to edit that. And just going to remove my chopping board edges by cropping, but just making sure that it's still 9:16 for my stories, guys. Always be clear about where you want to post it, huh? And that's it. It's saved. Super simple. Now what you can do is simply save this. When VSC allows you to save that edit, it's called create a recipe. It's interesting that how they call it recipe. And you can apply that preset anytime to any picture. And that's your personal preset. You don't have to buy presets from other people. So simple.
Thanks a lot, Amrita. Additionally, so Amrita and I discussed about that she would like to and love to share few of the ideas for all our content creators on what are the kind of things that they can put on their Instagram for having a more engaging audience. So we'll just quickly share with you what are all the pointers that she shared with us.
Yeah. So I actually, I've been creating content for a very, very long time. My platforms have changed. I started my career as journalist and then I got into radio. And Ankit, by the way, was also in the radio, the same radio. And so he would also know that how we were trained a lot about how to create content and how to engage people, how to have content which can engage people, which can also make them keep coming back to you. And that's why I just wanted to, while this is only a food photography workshop, I still wanted to highlight these because I know y'all are only learning this so that you can use it effectively for your Instagram and for your other places. So just going to share a couple of things that has worked well for me. I have been on Instagram for last 5-6 years. I have now reached about 58,000 followers and it's been very organic. I never had to do any kind of promoted post or anything and it has worked out well for me. Just so one key of creating your content and consistently do is just be very consistent, first thing, and just make sure that you're regularly engaging with your people. So first that really works is how to images. So especially if you're into food photography, then I would totally recommend showing the step by step. And stories, again I'm repeating, stories are more effective than your feed pictures. Sometimes feed gets lost in algorithm and a lot of people have such low attention span that we only check people's stories. We don't even go to the feed these days. So I would totally recommend that please put more content on your stories. To give you a little ballpark, like how much should you do it? I would totally recommend one picture for your feed every day, one post on a feed, and 10 pictures, 10 posts on your story. Now 10, I'm saying 10 posts, that means it could be your what do you call, it could be your AMA, it could be your slow mo, it could be your boomerang, it could be just a still picture, it could be like a little stop motion. But please utilize all your stories. But and also, if you start paying attention, and I'm sure if you're doing this professionally, I would recommend do this in the morning, some stories in the morning, some in the afternoon, and some in the night. So what happens is that you keep coming back on the front of the your feed. So when anybody starts the Instagram, they'll always be able to see that 5 6 circles where people have put their stories latest. And so whatever you put, otherwise somebody will upload and yours will keep getting pushed every time they will refresh or come back to the app. So you want to keep coming back with the newer and newer content and divide your stories into the day. And please, I don't think, you just don't judge yourself for putting so many stories. And it's absolutely okay. You're doing this for some reason. You want to grow there. You want to sell your stuff. You want to sell your own service, whatever. So please post consistently, post stories. Okay, how to really works. Be super topical right now. If we are in coronavirus time and we continue to post about our travel pictures, well, we can post our travel pictures, but then you have to talk about, you have to put across that, hey, sitting at home but dreaming about that vacation, right? You have used your older picture and made it topical today. And if you can, if right now, what are the topical? So even in radio, we were given this practice. So we have always had to find what is the vibe of the city or vibe of the place right now or the area. So right now, we all know what is the vibe. We all are feeling massive anxiety. We all are stuck at home. We all are like, some people are really finding it as blessing and indulging in their hobbies. Some people are really like working on their different fitness and stuff. And a lot of people are struggling to do anything. So even right now, when you come across post which says that, hey, I did not do anything and I'm feeling like a failure, I'm feeling anxiety, people can relate to that content. So I would totally recommend go super topical with your content. Okay, ask questions by asking questions on your caption. So when, let's say, if I'm putting a caption, if I'm putting let's say let me see, for example, pizza. When I posted a picture, I said I'm missing pizza and this is the first thing I want to have. But I can always ask in the caption that, hey, what is, so I know that after lockdown is over, I'm going to go and eat pizza the first thing. What are you going to eat? Now, simple question, people engage with questions like this. And because when they're engaging, the algorithms works in a such a way that when you upload something and when immediately you get traction on it, when you get people answering on it, it will show to more people. Otherwise, Instagram, Facebook, you already know they are little money minded. So, well, they should be. It's a business after all. So they only show your post to 10% of your followers. Do you realize if you have 1,000 followers right now, only 100 people are looking at your image. Even out of the 100, let's say somebody is just going through it and have skipped it. Now you're like, you're even more limited by only 40, 50 people. So you see, even when you see a number of likes and number of comments, sometimes doesn't match up. It's not because everybody has had like only like a bot followers or bot comments, and it's not really necessary. But if you do not do engaging content, it will not show up in the algorithm and people will not engage with it. I posted picture and I say, hey, I love pizza, I miss pizza. Now what about it? What are people going to do with that information? If they're fan, they can totally say, oh yeah, I also miss pizza. Or they may say that your picture is making me drool. But what other than that? So that's why give an additional value, ask questions, and say, hey, do you want to learn a recipe of like a pizza which gets ready in 10 minutes? Now that is something you already got them hooked. They were like, yes. And so many people will comment yes, that will show up to more people. And thankfully, those people who have commented yes will also come back and check your content tomorrow that have you shared it yet? You get me? By putting a little teaser, like a little hook,
Yeah.
you're making sure your followers, you're engaging them and you're really helping them. You are growing yourself and you're also helping them grow.
So
Interviews with
basically,
experts,
Amrita, it's all about engaging and having a constant engagement with your followers. Let it be by any means. Let it be showing them how to make things step by step, or by of course talking about super topical things. Maybe it's an occasion, talking about occasion. Let's say Easter or maybe Christmas, etc. Always have engaging questions in which people reply and people tell you that this is exactly what they want to do, right? So it's of course that's exactly what you mean, right?
Yeah. So that's what exactly I meant. Exactly. You have already summed it up for me. So thank you.
So yes, additionally, it's one of my favorite thing, guys. Action shots are a must. I have been doing that जब से मैं lockdown में हुई हूँ. Pancake के ऊपर honey डालना, cupcake के ऊपर sprinkle डालना, cake के ऊपर कुछ डालना. It's one of the favorite things to do.
It's
And
lovely.
it looks great on Instagram. It definitely looks great on Instagram, and not only Instagram, any social platform for that matter. Very quickly wrapping up for everybody. Let's just talk about the normal do's and don'ts of food photography.
So you can already see this, that please in the do's, most important is clean your camera. I cannot again like emphasize it enough. Clean your cameras to get good pictures. Second, keep your camera steady. So that's why doing like clicking with one and like holding with one and clicking with second is always better. Don't shake your camera too much. Even your phone camera, keep it steady. If you have tripod at home, even better. If you have tripod, then you can also do like stop motion and do more action shots, because I completely understand when I do a lot of cooking step by steps on my stories. So you can't hold the camera and also stir your pan. So that's when tripod really comes handy. So please utilize that. And third is take multiple shots so that later on you don't have regret of, hey, wait, I did not take that picture. Wish I had a different angle of this, or wish I didn't have to crop it, you know. So please take multiple shots with little bit of variations. It really helps you to get more content. And please do not use Zoom, okay? Like use Zoom right now to do this video calls and meetings like Zoom app, but don't use Zoom on your camera, okay? Guys, when you zoom into the camera, I get it. When you're like spying on somebody, like use it as a telescope, that's fine, you know, but okay, don't do that also.
But
if
for
you are taking a
a thing that's already very close to you and तुम उठा के कहीं पे भी किसी भी चीज को रख सकते हो, तो zoom करने की क्या जरूरत है? Take yourself closer to the camera, right?
Exactly. So take your camera closer to it rather than you zooming into it. Thoda move karo. Physical activity is very important, guys. We can't be like having sedentary lifestyle, okay? So when you zoom into it, what happens is you lose out on pixels. इतने महंगे हम phone लेते हैं, 12 megapixel, 24 megapixel, 46 megapixel, whatever. You don't want to waste your precious megapixels money into zooming, okay? So please utilize your
We definitely
camera
have
like that.
great camera pixels already. We don't require zooming in. We
yeah,
can, of course, go closer to the picture. You go closer to the subject and click pictures rather. Yes.
Yeah. And do not take tight frames. Always leave space for editing. Even if you're not editing picture, please leave space, because what happens is sometimes you take pictures too tight and sometimes it doesn't fit in your Insta story or it doesn't fit on your Instagram feed. You know, so always make sure, so you know the ratios that 4:5 works for your Instagram feed, 9:16 works for your Insta story. So please leave extra space. You can always crop it later. And avoid shooting under artificial light as much as you can. But if you do not have option, if you want to take that midnight baking process, then it's okay to take that. Just extra fill light will help. We've already spoken about it. These are my do's and don'ts. And of course, there are many out there, but we also want to wrap up our session today. So these are the main do's and don'ts.
Thank you so much, Amrita, for this. Guys, do remember to clean your camera. बाहर है तो शर्ट से ही क्लीन कर लेंगे, कोई बात नहीं. But always clean your camera before shooting. That entirely depends. Please, those megapixels that we have given are amazing already. Do not have to really use Zoom so much. Click a lot of pictures. A lot of pictures. Do share it with us. We would love to know what you have learned out of this. And you know, because as I say that, you know, even I have learned cooking only in this lockdown. I've never done that before. It's amazing. All these tips I'm gonna, you know, inculcate while putting pictures on Instagram for sure. Thank you so much, Amrita. A lot of them are asking that, a lot of our Me fans are asking that, you know, where they can actually, if they have to reach out to you, where they can. Please share your Twitter ID or maybe your Instagram ID for them to reach out.
Yeah, so on Twitter and on Instagram, I'm Amrita of Life. You can read my name there, Amrita of Life. So you can just enter that on Instagram and Twitter. I'm most active on Instagram, not so much on Twitter. But I regularly post content there, and I would regularly answer there as well. In this coming week, I do plan to put up some extra tips and tricks about my these editing and sharing these things as well. Whatever the video that I shared with you with the Apple editing and the clicking, I will upload it on my Instagram so you can access it anytime. And so it'll be easy for you guys if you missed out on that part. And please follow me on Instagram. And as I said, engage with the followers as well, and engage with people you are following, and your followers also will engage back with you. Have that sense of community, and just comment more so you can get more comments on your page. Okay, so all the best for your better food pictures, and I hope that I get to see some of your pictures. So in this next week, whenever you're clicking pictures, and if you've followed any of these tips, please tag me, please tag Redmi
Please
India,
tag
and
Redmi
Chhaya, please share
and
your
do
Insta
let us
handle.
know.
Yeah.
Do let us know how the
Yes,
session
your
was. Do let us know if
yeah,
you know
please.
you guys actually use these tips in creating your amazing content. If there are any more questions, please feel free to DM us or to Amrita. It was lovely having you, Amrita. Thank you so much. These were some really good details that you shared. Thank you so much for taking time out for this. Thank you so much, me fans, for joining. Please, again, tomorrow, 7 o'clock, there are going to be 2 more sessions today, and I mean, tomorrow and day after tomorrow. Stay tuned. Thank you so much. Have a great day ahead. Stay home, stay safe. Thank you.
Good night. Bye.
Good night. Bye.